The United States Congress just passed rules for impeaching President Donald Trump. The scene that played out today on the House floor is serious, severe, and historically unusual. Only 3 presidents have ever faced this kind of impeachment probe vote before. Only 2 have actually been impeached. Only one of them was an elected president. So what Congress did today is rare by any measure. It forever marks Donald Trump's presidency and scores a clear win for Speaker Pelosi, who had been cautious about impeachment at every step of this debate, holding back her more spirited colleagues initially, lining up the evidence, and first uniting her entire caucus before stepping out to preside over this vote and even casting her own vote, which is rare for a sitting speaker.
The resolution is adopted without objection. The motion to reconsider is laid upon the table.
That is not rhetoric. That's not symbolism. And it's not another verbal rebuke of this president who has been so famously and constantly rebuked. No, what you just heard, those words from the speaker on the passage of this resolution, is power. This is the exercise of the constitutional power by the party that won the midterms, creating now, tonight, for the first time, a set of public rules for probing whether Donald Trump abused his foreign policy powers. And this Congress is showing the nation that tonight they are closer to impeaching President Trump than this Congress has ever been since he took office. Pelosi and her impeachment leadership team laying out the reasons for that today.
What is at stake is our democracy.
It's about betrayal. It's about corruption. It's about national security. It's about the undermining of our elections. It's about defending our democracy for the people.
The House and the American public must see all the evidence for themselves.
Maybe the most important service as members of Congress we will ever pay to the country and Constitution.
I don't know why the Republicans are afraid of the truth. Every member should support allowing the American people to hear the facts for themselves.
So that's what happened, and those were the reasons for what happened. Now, what do we know about what this vote means? I'm going to tell you right now. 1, it moves this whole investigation into a public phase. Public interview transcripts, public hearings, public objections, public battles over what this president did and whether, if he did do something, that is a high crime. If the private depositions are any indication, this means a lot of damning evidence against Trump is coming. A lot of the bombshells, the corroborations, and the internal contradictions exposed in this White House, all of that under these rules that are now real will go public. What else do we know? Well, 2, today forced the politicians to reveal where they stand. House Republicans are now on record more united defending Donald Trump right now than the Democrats were when the same kind of authorizing vote was held against President Clinton. We can say that as a fact now tonight because today no Republicans crossed the aisle to back the impeachment probe. Compare that to over 30 Democrats who did the same to Clinton. We can also note that 2 Democrats crossed Pelosi to oppose this measure. What else do we know? Well, 3, today's vote exposes Donald Trump's objections and bluffing on stonewalling. And here's exactly how it does that. Take a look at how the White House responded to this vote, alleging the impeachment probe has, quote, violations of due process. That's false. Now, last night, there might have been a debate about that among some people because the rules were at that point a proposal. Tonight, I can tell you, I can report for you to the nation that's false because Congress passed these rules and they're transparent so we can read them. And they include due process for President Trump. In fact, they include a lot of due process protections that even go beyond what other presidents have been afforded impeachment probes. The participation of the president and his counsel, which means they can present their case, object to evidence, object to testimony being included at the hearings. They can also cross-examine witnesses. The president has rights, and this Congress is saying they will be recognized. If impeached, he'll face a trial based on the evidence that this Congress gathers under these rules they passed today, which is why today is not a drill. This is the real thing. Speaker Pelosi's measure defines the arena, the rules, and the referees, which makes some of the usual commentary and political tweets and complaints increasingly irrelevant because what matters is the new rules of the road and the evidence, which, of course, on the substantive issues has been piling up. It's been telling a story that Donald Trump abused his power to demand a foreign government help him win re-election and go after his rival, Joe Biden. It's been telling a story that Donald Trump seized money this Congress appropriated by law and then tried to exploit it in a plot for his re-election. Now, under the law, the president can't steal $391 million from the budget to get a Ukrainian Biden investigation any more than he can steal $391 million and park it over in a MAGA political action committee. If you're listening to me, you're probably hearing parts of this story are pretty straightforward. Everything I'm saying to you is plain English. There's no footnotes. This is part of the evidence that's piled up. What's new tonight is that now the Congress has guaranteed those pieces of evidence and these allegations will be put before the Congress and the country and will be judged. And that forces Washington and the nation to answer. Is it okay for the president to do that stuff? And if it's not okay, what is the Congress going to do about it? What is the remedy? This is history we're watching together. You can probably feel that on a night like tonight. This is history that is significant in part because it is rare and has very few echoes. There's one in 1868, if you go back then. There's 1998, of course, with Clinton. And then there's those dark days for Nixon in the 1970s. In fact, it was all the way back in 73 when a few high school-age musicians from Jamaica, Queens, appraised their divided country at the time. This was many months before it was clear that Nixon would ever be ousted. And they said in a song famous for that era, some people say that he's guilty. Some people say, I don't know. Some people say, give him a chance. Some people say, wait till he's convicted. I'm quoting, of course, the Honey Drippers, ladies and gentlemen, capturing the dueling arguments that face any nation looking at the regrettable question in those rare times in history when it is posed. The question, is the president a crook? Hey, I'm Ari Melber from MSNBC. You can see more of our videos right here, or better yet, subscribe to our YouTube channel below. You could have been anywhere in the world, but you're here with us, and we appreciate that.